I beg you, just make it quick." Lily was only 17. She had no mother anymore, and no one left to rely on. The wooden house standing in the middle of the field had once been a place of laughter, where her childhood memories lingered. But now, it was nothing more than a prison where the man who called himself her stepfather turned every day into hell. Rough ropes rubbed against her wrists, cutting deep until blood began to flow. Her legs were stretched tight over the rotting fence, skin burning under the blazing Sunday. Every breath stabbed through her chest like needles, and with every heartbeat came the same thought there was no way out. She was too young to understand how the world could be so cruel. All of this for a small piece of land her mother had left behind. The man who once pretended to protect her now beat and cursed her for refusing to sign it away. Every shout he hurled at her sliced into her heart like a knife. "You are nothing without me." The slaps and insults did not only bruise her body, they shattered the last bit of faith she had in humanity. Lily learned to stay silent, to hide her tears, to bite her lip until it bled so she would not cry out loud. But today, she could not hold it in any longer. She screamed. The sound burst through the dry fields, raw and desperate. Her voice cracked, throat burning, yet she kept calling a hopeless cry carried by the wind. Deep down, she knew no one might come. But somewhere in her heart, a faint spark of hope still flickered that maybe someone, somewhere, could hear her. The sun showed no mercy, pouring fire onto her back. Sweat and blood mixed together, tracing lines across her scorched skin. In her mind, her stepfather's face appeared like a demon, his cruel grin echoing, convinced she would soon give in. Lily closed her eyes. For a brief moment she remembered her mother, the gentle smile, the lullabies, the afternoons spent picking apples together. The memory vanished as pain dragged her back to the present. Her body trembled. Her breaths came shallow. Her strength was fading fast. But inside that fragile heart, something small remained: the will to live, the yearning to be free. Her cry for help drifted into the wind, carried far beyond the farm and into the endless sky. Would anyone hear it? Would anyone be brave enough to face the monster who held her captive? Her lips moved faintly, her voice barely a whisper. One final plea melted into the air. "Please, someone, save me." And as darkness began to swallow her mind, only one question lingered within the storm. If no one came, would she survive the night? Under the blazing western sky, Jack Donovan rode his horse across the open field. A strange sound made him stop. At first, it was only the wind, but then he heard it. A voice, faint, desperate, full of pain. Jack pulled the reins tight, his eyes narrowing. He listened carefully, heart pounding. The cry carried the terror of a soul begging to be saved. Without hesitation, he kicked his horse forward, galloping hard. Dust rose in waves beneath the burning Sunday. As he drew closer, he squinted and saw her. A young woman tied to an old fence, hair tangled, skin sunburned, her body covered in wounds. Jack almost could not believe his eyes. In those eyes of hers, fear and hope were tangled together, as if she was holding on to the last light of her life. He dismounted slowly, careful not to scare her. His voice was low, rough, but gentle. "It is all right. I am here now. You will be safe." Tears streamed down her face, but no words came out. Jack drew his dagger, the blade flashing in the sunlight. One by one the ropes snapped, each sharp sound cutting through her despair. When the last rope fell, she collapsed into his arms, her breath faint, her body trembling. Jack held her close. The scent of dust, sweat, and blood mixed in the air, raw and real. He knew. This girl had endured something no one should ever have to face. But as he looked up, the wind shifted, the grass stirred. A chill ran down his spine. Somewhere in the shadows, someone was watching. Jack whispered, voice steady as steel, "You are safe now, I promise." Yet the moment that promise left his lips, fate began to move. Was this rescue the beginning of freedom, or the doorway to a much darker fight? The ropes were gone, but fear still chained Lily's heart. Jack gripped her shoulders firmly. "You are safe now. I will not let him touch you again." She trembled. He wants my mother's farm. He will come back." Jack's eyes darkened, anger burning silently inside. "Not while I am here." He lifted her onto his horse and rode through the red dust of sunset. When they reached a small wooden cabin, Jack tended her wounds with hands that were rough but gentle. Lily looked at him, her eyes reflecting something she thought she had lost long ago: trust. Night fell. Jack sat by the window, gun in hand. Outside, the wind howled across the fields, and in the darkness, someone was coming. The storm had not arrived yet, but it had begun to move. The night hung heavy. The wind hissed through the cracks, whispering danger. Jack stood still, hand resting on his gun. Then came a sound, a footstep, a creaking gate. "You think you can hide her from me, Donovan?" The door burst open. Hank stormed in, eyes bloodshot, breath reeking of whiskey. Lily screamed, voice shaking but firm. "No, that farm belongs to my mother." The sound of a gun being cocked, then silence. The two men clashed like thunder. Tables shattered, chairs splintered under the blows. Jack fought cold and precise. When Hank finally fell, his gun flying across the floor, Jack pressed a knee to his back, voice hard as iron. "Your game is over." Lily stepped forward, tears streaming down her face. "You will pay for what you did." The fire crackled in the hearth, reflecting their victory. But outside, the wind still howled. The coming dawn could bring freedom or vengeance. Morning rose, painting the fields with the red of blood and hope. Hank was handcuffed. Led away, the nightmare was finally over. For the first time, Lily breathed without fear. No more ropes, no more shouting. Only sunlight and the whisper of the wind. Freedom. Jack stayed to help her rebuild the farm. He did not speak much. He just worked repairing fences, fixing the roof, teaching her how to hold the reins and stand tall on her own. Days passed. The sun once again poured over the fields. Lily was no longer the 17-year-old girl trapped in fear. She was a survivor, wearing her scars like medals of strength. When the wind swept across the fields, she closed her eyes and smiled. Freedom at last smelled like wind, earth, and herself. The morning sun of the Wild West shone golden. Lily stood on the porch, watching the sheriff's men ride away with Hank, taking with them the years of fear. She closed her eyes and heard the wind whisper in her mother's voice, "You did the right thing." Tears fell, but this time they were tears of freedom. In the days that followed, she and Jack rebuilt the farm together. He did not talk much, just stayed beside her, teaching her how to live, how to trust, how to stand firm. Fence by fence, wound by wound, everything slowly healed. She learned to ride again, to laugh under the open sky, to believe she deserved to live. Harvest season came. The fields glowed gold. Lily rode through the wind, her laughter echoing across the valley. Jack watched her, pride shining in his eyes. She was no longer a victim. She had become a symbol of strength. Take a moment to ask yourself, how many of us have faced our own Hank, fear, betrayal, or invisible wounds that almost broke us? The story of Lily and Jack is more than just a Western tragedy. It is a reminder that even in the deepest darkness, light still exists if we are brave enough not to give up. Jack was not a hero. He was simply a man who believed that no one should have to fight alone. And Lily, after everything, proved that true strength is not about being unafraid. It is about choosing to keep walking, even when your heart still hurts. If this story touched you, please like, share, and subscribe. Because who knows, maybe in the next video, you will find the spark of light for your own journey.